What is true power? I'll give you a hint. Power is not the ability to crush your enemies with your bare hands, though that's always enjoyable. It is not the ability to end life, nor to cast strong magics, but the ability to command others, to make them, whether through reverence or fear, bow to your will and do as you command. Other fool gods may bark the notions of honor and restraint, and my old friend Baal constantly spills blood for its own sake. What fools! Honor and mercy are concepts that the weak use to stay the hand of the strong and the deserving, keeping the truly worthy from their rightful place atop the pecking order. As for those slaves to bloodlust, just as foolish. Death, destruction, and fear. They are useful as long as they serve a purpose. In a vacuum, they mean nothing. In the end, the rules are written by the victors. Would Honorable Tyr or Righteous Helm maintain morality if, in truth, they were not so often the victors in their own struggles against their terrible adversaries? Would Weeping Ilmater, the broken martyr, truly allow those weak which he cares for so deeply to govern themselves above his will? No. For in the depths of their divine hearts, they must know I am right. No more so than Mystra, the thrice-damned whore. For does she not rule over all magic with an iron fist? She must, for she knows the consequences of a lax and merciful ruler of such power. Still too weak, if you were to ask me. They call me Tyrant, and this title I have claimed for myself and wear with deserved pride. For I know what I am, and make no effort to mask myself. I reject the chains of honor and mercy, embracing the iron certainty of power and efficiency of cruelty. I reject destruction without end or purpose, for my will is that of conquest. I reject the idea of lifting the weak to greater station, for surely if those pitiful excuses of mortal beings were given the chance, they would only drag down everyone beside them and leave all in no better a state than whence they came from. My worshippers know this all too well. The strong rule over the weak, as it is their right, and those seeking strength must obtain their station by any means necessary. Thus all will prosper. The weak will be given a strong hand to protect and guide them even against themselves. For how could such wretched weaklings possibly govern themselves? I see it every day when I look upon the mortal world that I once called home. The slums grow and spread, consuming more and more like a cancer, kept at bay only by the hands of those rulers strong enough and willful enough to look beyond the blinds of mercy and honor and do what is necessary. Cut the cancer out. In the end, it is always about power. When I was once a mortal, I learned this lesson well and many times over. I cultivated my body and mind to grow strong and cunning. Many matches in a battlefield I had, and I won them all. Some may claim otherwise, denouncing my actions as honorless and unworthy. But at the end of the day, I was the one standing over the bloodied bodies of those who challenged me. Adventuring was the crucible I tested myself against. I could impose my will on the world by force and cunning, and found many allies. Among the most talented was Merkel the Necromancer, and Baal. Less a man than a creature, his bloodlust was at once respectable and a constant thorn in my side. I made sure to keep both of them in check, though. I doubt they would have followed me had I not possessed the key to our mutual goal. Ascension to godhood. True power. Only the gods command absolute power and control, and only gods govern over the tyranny of death. Death. The one foe that we Dread Three all wished to conquer. Merkel through his strange weavings of dead flesh and spirits. Baal wishing only to inflict death for its own sake on whatever hapless victim was unfortunate enough to catch his eye. As for myself, I wanted complete rule. With our combined might, we fought through every obstacle, every trap, every trick sent our way by our desired goal. Jurgle, the old god of death and the dead, could not hide from us. I discovered where his lair was. Merkel conjured us a means to get there from the material world, and Baal helped to cut down any in our way. And a great deal of standing off to the side as well, much to my frustration. Still, when the time came to confront the scribe of the dead, I was almost disappointed. The withering thing offered no combat, but a conundrum. He wished to retire from his post and his divinity, offering up power and godhood, but first put to us which would replace him. There was, after all, 3 of us, and only 1 god of the dead. I could almost smell the deception on the death god. He wanted the 3 of us to turn on one another. Not entirely unappealing, as Merkel was constantly scheming and Baal was untrustworthy from the start. But as my grip on my flail tightened, a new solution was put forth. Jurgle ruled over many aspects of death and the dead, and could divide his portfolio between us. I hate compromises, but there was little to be done. I only fight when I know I can win, and against Merkel and Baal I had reasonable reservations. We would each have a slice of the cake, but who got first pick? That was decided with a game of knucklebones. As the dice were thrown, it naturally ended in my victory. How could it end any other way? My genius thrived in such a game, even against the necromancer, who was always too subtle for his own good. Baal was just a rabid animal, no longer useful, and no longer would I have to worry myself with his murderous gaze that looked at me like a butcher looks at a fat pig. I had ascended. Godhood was finally mine, as the power flowed into me with the force of a tidal wave and heat of a wildfire. I declared my new domain. I choose to rule for all eternity as the ultimate tyrant. Ambition, control, tyranny are mine to command and shape in all creation. I can induce hatred and strife at my whim, and all will bow before me while in my kingdom. And so I am the first and final victor. The others watched me with jealousy that made me want to laugh. Merkel took the dead, Baal the ending of life. Not surprising in the least, and not worrying either. Merkel was still a doddering old fool, even as a god of the dead, and if I could control Baal as mortals, nothing is different now that we are gods. Except for my superiority over them, and all mortals, of course. The Ascension had me thinking. If I could rise to take over the god of death, then why not another? Why not the gods of life or magic? My ambitions grew at pace, and my eyes were set on the ultimate prize. I was the lord of tyranny, ruler of strife, but there were still beings who could claim dominion over me. One in particular, Ao, the over-deity. the most powerful being in all creation. He alone could command the very gods, regardless of their power or prestige. All of it channeled through the fabled Tablet of Fates. Ah, that tablet. I must have it. I deserve it. I worked my way from mortal destitution to godhood. What other being was more deserving than I? My old friend Merkel aided me in the stealing of the tablet, but my plot had an unfortunate oversight. Ao and the tablet are one. He knew of my plot the instant I touched the damn thing, and his vengeance was swift and admittedly respectable. He punished all beneath him, even those with no real connection to my plans, putting all the gods in our place by robbing us of our divinity and hurling us to the world as mortals. I would admire his swift and brutal action were I not so furious. I would not stand idle and wait to be given my godhood back like a child with its toy taken away. I took it the first time, and I will take it again. Once more I made for the Tablet of Fates, only to find the fool Merkel lost it. My second attempt made a prisoner out of Mystra, former goddess of magic. All these plots and more had failed when that insufferable Torm, the heaven's very own knight in shining armor, god of paladins, knights, and honor, and other foolish things. He slew me. To make matters worse, my power, my divine domain was stolen by the usurper Cyric. But this would not be my end. Bane is not so easily defeated. I knew well that gods could rise and fall, and I was prepared. My scion, my mortal son, fulfilled his purpose as the chrysalis for my return. I burst from his flesh like a sword through his back, and I was reborn. Ever since that day, I vowed never to lose my power again. I, mortal made god. I, who began and survived the time of troubles. I, who had conquered death and the loss of my own divinity and church. I, who tricked the Lord of Bones and leashed the Lord of Murder. I, who survived the Spell Plague and Second Sundering. I am the first among tyrants. I am the Iron Fist that commands order and respect. I am Bane. And one way or another, you will bow to me.
Thank you so much for watching, you guys. It's been a while since we covered the last member of the Dead 3, so I figured it was time to complete the Trinity. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like it, consider leaving a like and hitting that subscribe button. If we can get to 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, I will release a free PDF containing 5 unique ancient dragons, which I have actually made videos about on the channel. A green dragon with the incredible illusion abilities of a wizard, a black dragon with the sneaking, cunning abilities of a rogue, or a red dragon with the raw strength and fury of a barbarian. I've worked really hard at it, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. A special thank you as always to my wonderful patrons who help keep the channel going. You can become a patron yourself and see all my videos early and completely ad-free. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's it for me. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I love hearing what you guys have to say, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!